Dani Olmo is now available on a 3. Nuno Mendes wants Manchester United transfer, and we know that Manchester United, according to a reliable source, put an offer in. Could there be some movement? Well, apparently there has to be sales first for some transfer movement to happen. Zirkzee, what's the situation on that? Garnacho seen as the most sellable asset. Interest in Antony. Interest in Casemiro. What is the latest on that? Another Manchester United coach has reportedly been sacked as well, as INEOS are doing these ruthless cuts to the staff. What is the update and news on that? What's the plan for Dan Gore? What's the plan for Scanlon? What's the plan for Harry Amass? What's the plan for some of the youth players? We also have links to other players like Samu, the striker at Porto, that Manchester United are looking at. We've also got an update on what 2 or 3 positions United are really prioritising, who they're looking at and more. So, hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Happy New Year, and let's get into a 10-minute Manchester United news roundup because the January window is now open. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve if you went out or stayed in, and I hope you all have a good new year. I am absolutely dead this morning because I went out last night. But let's get into the content. And again, I do apologise if the quality isn't quite as good. Not on my usual setup. Don't have my mic or anything like that. So I'm hoping the sound comes out all right. But this is what was said, by the way. Official La Liga reject Barcelona's appeal to register Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. It was said that Barcelona have not presented any alternative that would allow the registration in accordance with La Liga's economic control regulations to register any player from next January 2. So that means that Dani Olmo is now available as a free agent. Also, Dani Olmo, Barcelona have paid the money for Dani Olmo. They also have to give him his wages, and he can either just wait 6 months and rejoin them in the summer and not join the club, or he can join another club even though they've paid Leipzig the money and paying his wages. Sometimes when I think Man United run badly, I remember also how bad Barcelona also run as well. So we're not the only top club that's run shambles. Now, I would do a lot for Dani Olmo. United, City and Liverpool have all renewed interest in Dani Olmo. United and City, I think, probably need him the most. I think he could really work as a 10 in Amass system because he can play wide. He can play as a 10. He's got the legs. Basically, considering Mason Mount's out until March, Dani Olmo, do you know what I mean? Considering Rashford's not really playing, someone like Dani Olmo would be ideal. City also looking at him. I don't think we'd be able to get Dani Olmo. I think Dani Olmo will see the state we're in, and I just don't think he'd have any interest in joining us. But you never know. Maybe we could agree like a 6-month contract, let him go to Barcelona in the summer, just have him between now and I don't know, the end of the season. Is that worth it? I don't know. But I would love Dani Olmo at Man United, but he's going to have nearly everyone interested in him. I think he would ideally be at Barcelona. He might go back to Leipzig. Who knows? But I'd love that deal to happen. Another deal I'd love to happen. And the only concern around Nuno Mendes is essentially injuries. Because other than that, I think he's an unbelievable left back, an unbelievable signing. But Pete Hall from iPaper Sport came out this morning, or late last night actually, saying that Nuno Mendes wants to join Manchester United. Now, to put that into context, Fabrice Hawkins said that Manchester United have made an offer for PSG left back Nuno Mendes. The player wants to leave PSG. He said, it's unknown if the player would want to join United, but he wants to leave PSG. United made an offer. PSG, if they cannot get him to renew a new contract, which is looking like they can't, would be open to selling him potentially in January as well because they can get a bit of money for him. It was said by Chris Reader last night that Manchester United's main left wing-back target is Nuno Mendes. PSG want to extend his contract, but they may be willing to sell him if he's reluctant to re-sign. So United, I think, right now are thinking, well, Amrin wants Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes is happy to leave PSG. This is a deal we could explore for January. Again, Man United acting on this, they probably need funds through sales. But this is a deal to explore for January. We're also looking at Dorgu. We're also looking at Kirkes. They seem to be the 3 left wing-back options that we were exploring in January. I think it's about which one is the most attainable, but also I think there needs to be a sale to fund that. But Nuno Mendes would be unbelievable. It was said by Rich Fay that Ruben Amorim wants a left wing-back in the January window, and there's also a desire to sign a forward, either a striker or an attacking midfielder. And I think that is because Rashford sort of seems done at United. Mason Mount is out till March. That makes sense. I think a left wing back, and if you could add someone to the front line, would be unreal. Nuno Mendes and Dani Olmo, we're dreaming. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to be very let down and disappointed as Manchester United. But, it's very obvious that INEOS are actively looking to do something in January. But whether we actually do something in January is a different question. But Dani Olmo and Nuno Mendes would be amazing. Even Dorgu or Kirkes at left wing back would be amazing. Cunha, not going to be able to get him in January. That would be unbelievable. I don't know who we could get in January. Dani Olmo is probably the one that stands out. We've had a look at the guy Samu. But yeah, it would be unbelievable to bring someone in. I think if we actually sold Rashford or Garnacho, we then have the funds to maybe do something and surprise us. But I think right now there's not enough concrete evidence that Rashford and Garnacho are going to go. There's also talk of Zirkzee going, but again, we're going to give you an update on that. But let me quickly get into what else Chris Wheeler had to say when he spoke about Man United having scouts at Porto's win. He said they're having a look and seeing if there's any transfer business that can be done in January, but they were watching striker Ammo. He also scored, I think, twice when we played Porto and killed our defence. Anyway, Chris Wheeler then gave some updates on the whole Rashford-Garnacho situation as well here. He basically went into detail and said, despite all the noise around Rashford, Garnacho's value is actually greater based on his higher transfer fee and lower wages. United could sell him for more and not have the problem of paying off his user contract that still has 3.5 years to run. So he's saying that Garnacho is a more sellable asset, and I think Garnacho's wages make him a more sellable asset, 100%. And I think Garnacho is a little bit like Delo, but I don't know if he fits Amran's system. In August, you think he's a key player for Ten Hag. You wouldn't think he'd be anyone that United were planning to get rid of in 2025. But when you look at Amran's system, Delo and Garnacho could be two players that actually, in 2025, it makes sense for United to potentially look at parting ways with him because he doesn't fully fit the system and he is probably one of United's most sellable assets. So we've got a few other news updates coming in on sales, by the way. Paul Hurst says that Real Betis want to sign Antony on loan. He's aware of the interest, but they need to sell Diao before they can enter any negotiations. Man United actually had a look at signing Diao last year, but he sort of dropped off a bit and not played a lot. But we did show a bit of interest in Diao last year. And it was also said that United do value Garnacho at 50 million, going back to him being the most sellable asset, which if it's true that Atletico are willing to pay 60 million, then I think United would negotiate something on that. But the source that said Atletico were willing to pay 60 million for Garnacho was Court Offside, and Court Offside is sort of known for not being the best or the most reliable source of information. Updates also came in to say that Joshua Zirkzee is attracting interest from Juventus and Napoli, but will fight for his Manchester United future, and that Amran is unlikely to sanction Zirkzee's departure unless it's at least one new attacking signing has been made, said Mirror. So Joshua Zirkzee wants to stay and fight despite rumours, despite Barcelona interest. Amran's willing to let him do that, but if we did sign an attacking player, he would then let Zirkzee go. But unless we sign an attacking player, I don't think Zirkzee's going anywhere. I think Zirkzee could go in the summer. Antony, I think, will go in 2025. Casemiro Eriksson will go in 2025. Garnacho could be sold. Rashford could be sold. Delo could be sold. There's going to be a big clear out in 2025. Now, talking of big clear out, one thing we know that INEOS has done is clear out the staff. And according to Footy Insider, which isn't the most reliable source of information, they're saying that Manchester United is set to sack their chief goalkeeping scout, Tony Cotton. A couple of people are talking about this now. Footy Insider also add to this report that apparently Ruben Amorim isn't happy with Onana as first choice or Bayindir as second choice, not potentially rating both players. But look, I think Footy Insider is one of those take with a pinch of salt, but Onana's been shaky since Amorim's come in. Bayindir clearly isn't a good enough backup, and there is now talk from Footy Insider that Man United have made the decision to sack Tony Cotton, and that it's another ruthless move from INEOS. Talking of goalkeepers, I haven't got the notes on me, but the Manchester Evening News came out this morning and said that Ruben Amorim wants to sign a new goalkeeper to provide competition to Onana because he's not fully rating Bayindir. Bayindir is very shaky, and apparently Bayindir himself is interested in leaving United because he wants more game time. He just barely plays because we don't even trust him to play in most of the games. Like, we really don't. But let's continue on into this final two stories. So this is on the youth. It said that Manchester United are prioritising loan exits for academy stars Harry Amass and Dan Gore during the January transfer window. Dan Gore is someone that honestly I would have played the other day, honestly. I mean, he's probably not ready to play on, like, let's be realistic, probably the right decision not to play him, but he's a player I rate really highly. Harry Amass is also another highly rated player. I think loans would be good for them because they're two of the best players in our academy, technically very good, and I think a loan would be really beneficial to them. James Scanlon, who plays for Gibraltar, doing really well this season, can play wide, can play essentially forward option, is understood that both United and the player side are open to a move that is a natural fit for Scanlon, and if he can get the game time needed to further develop Chris Wheeler. So it looks like Gore and Amass are the priorities to get out on loan ahead of the January window, but players like Scanlon are considering a loan. There is talk that Wheatley's considering a loan, Collier even, but apparently Ruben Amorim wants to just keep Collier to the end of the season because the midfield options are light, and he clearly doesn't really rate Eriksson and Casemiro. And after that, Newcastle game, you can see why. We can see how important Agate is just alone after that Newcastle game, can't we? Anyway, people, please do go ahead and hit that like button if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you're new. I will be back tonight with another transfer update. I'll probably be live. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.